What?
Post I go, yeah.
What?
I don't know, somehow. Yeah.
It's good, it's got mercury in it. Is it?
Hey, what up? All those people who showed up last week just came up because they weren't gonna come to this.
They're still recuperating.
It on? No.
Oh God, it's 1 o'clock.
Larry would probably.
What happened?
Nobody.
I just realised it's 1.
That's funny.
Sam, do you think they knew you were coming this week again and didn't come?
They figured I was coming, but they didn't realize I was gonna have like. 10 Yeah, you need payment from me for the change.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hope and trust that you all are having wonderful Tuesday afternoon. We here at RCN, we are enjoying ourselves and we're just so delighted that you were able to join us and join us again for another exciting RCN moment. Okay, so we want to just call this meeting now to order.
Okay.
And now we have the Rotary Grace. Now Rotary Grace, all heads bow. Oh Lord, who knows our need, help us fulfill our Rotary creed. We live to serve you every day, in all we think, or do, or say. Accept our prayers for this meeting. Restore, forgive, inspire, and heal. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amen. And then now, what we'll have now is our loyal toast to the King and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And
To the King.
we go. Rotarians, fellow guests, let's raise our glass in honor to the King and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
To the King and
To the King and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Oh, jeez. Ain't touched me that.
You may be seated, those of you can.
I borrowed that $500 pen you can carry around.
Which got a blue or black? Which one you prefer?
And so now,
Oh, yes, sir. They
it
only
gives me
use
great
black.
pleasure.
Okay,
Great
then, that's
pleasure,
a
as
black.
always,
Thank
to
you.
at least have our visiting Rotarians who are with us at the timing. So if we have any visiting Rotarians on the call, and you'd like to be mic and make yourself known to us, we'll be more than happy to give you a good RCN welcome.
Mike is on, Mike Stafford,
That's our guess.
our guest speaker.
Do we have any visiting Rotarians on the call other than our guest speaker? Madam President? Madam Chair, Mr. Chair. Madam Chair.
I don't see anybody there.
13.
That's one P is.
If they're all among friends and fellow Rotarians. Do we have any guests on the call who would like to open their mics and chat? And just-
Hi, Rotarian Tamika here. I'd just like to introduce my guest again, Kasinthi Bodie. She's visiting with us for a second time, and that's Kasinthi Bodie.
Kasinthi, thank you very much, Tamika. Kasinthi Bodie. Thanks so much, Kasinthi. How are you doing, Kasinthi? Do you want to open your mic and just say hi? We're just so happy to have you on. Okay, so Kasinthi she might be busy, probably at work. And then disposed at this time, but indeed we're happy to have her on the call. Thanks so much, Karen's on the call.
Sorry, just apologies for Cynthia. She said on her end, her system was freezing, and so she may just have to sign back in, okay?
Okay, thank you so much. Let her know that we wish her a warm welcome. Welcome, and we're just happy to have a presence with us today. Okay, and moving straight along, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to welcome our president,
Pay for it.
Madam Chantel, who will come up and yes, give a welcome and her words of encouragement. Thanks.
I just paid
All
that.
right, good afternoon, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I thought I did see the president-elect. He didn't see
Yeah,
the
it's
chair. Oh, okay, because I wanted to let him know, I only got 2 more meetings. It's winding down. 2 more meetings.
You gotta be here.
Okay, yeah, we must be here in an excited way to take over. But it's good to have you here. Typically, I get we hopefully have some more.
There he is,
persons
looking for the culprit. right?
Just saying, like, 2 more meetings, 2 more. Okay.
You can even go on to that.
You want me to keep
Fine,
it?
yeah.
Great,
Um,
thank you.
That's
So
my
we
name on
do,
it. Jen. You gotta-
Online, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we have some more persons join us here at the Rock Club, but thank you so much for all those who are
Like
attending.
last weekend.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You did an awesome job. I was really
All right,
proud
so
of you.
just some reminders, I need to make sure that everybody's aware, we do have our changeover scheduled for Monday, July 3rd. If you don't, no.
Darren,
it's not working.
Darren can't come. He's got something else better to do.
Right, so in your absence, we will have the AG swear you in. as president. So we start at 7, but we will be having cocktails at 6.
You remain in office until somebody replaces you.
Yeah, that's
Physically.
see
replace you.
Darren right there, yeah.
Not an absent person replacing you. You have to be present.
So you're gonna kidnap him.
So you have
Kidnap
to
him.
pick him up and make sure he's there.
I'll send you,
Might get stuck.
to make sure, okay.
That would be a fully in-person, no Zoom or?
No, yes, thanks for reminding me of that. It is an in-person event for the changeover. There will be no Zoom link for the changeover. It is an in-person event. So please make sure you get your tickets. We are down to our last 8 tickets. So if you don't have your ticket, better get it now because, after that, the room is maxed out. So please get in touch with myself or Francina so that we can get the tickets to you. Another reminder, especially for the board, especially the incoming board, there is a training this Saturday here at the Yacht Club starting at 10 a.m.
Sharp.
Yeah, so you should be here from 9 a.m. All right, to make sure that you're here and place whatever breakfast you need to do, make sure that happens before we start at 10 o'clock.
Oh, breakfast is not gonna be here?
Huh?
Breakfast is not gonna be here?
Yeah, so come at 9 to eat breakfast.
Come at 90 breakfast.
Make sure you have breakfast so you can start on time. Don't come at 10 and then start getting your breakfast. Understood?
The breakfast will be here.
Yes.
At-
9.
There is not gonna be
Thank you.
breakfast at 10 a.m. There's just gonna be coffee,
So
tea.
just at 9 is breakfast.
So if you want breakfast, you're gonna have to have it yourself before you come here.
Oh, I meet it here at 9.
It's gonna be.
Or bring it with you.
It's
Yes.
gonna be coffee POV.
Yes.
I can be there.
So you
Okay,
have
we
to
wanna
make your tea or
So the
tea.
course, the session will be, how many hours is that? 11 to 3 hours, regardless of what time you start. So the earlier you start, the earlier you will finish. So if you don't show up till 11, that means you can be here till 2, okay? So please, make sure we start at 10, okay? All right, thank you, good. That's clear enough, Darren? And anything else you want to add to that? Okay, all right, so those are the 2 things we need to make sure happen and, before my year is out. I didn't think. Oh, you know, okay, yes, so those are the updates. I do have a video now that we need to play that I got from you. Thank you very much, Sheila. This is talking about Rotary Fellowships. Because a lot of persons think that Rotary Fellowship Month is, having parties and socials, but there is actually a little bit more to it. So let me.
It has an S on the end.
Yes, there is an S on the end. You are absolutely correct.
So do I have to bring it close to the table?
Yeah, you come in your swimming trunks and then you change when you get there.
You got it, you're not specifying, but that's a change, you're quite correct. And you said presidential change.
Thank you. I have, one guy, the nightclub, used to say.
If you think of what interests people have, there's a fellowship for it.
You share the same interest. You share the same hobby.
Photography is a fellowship. Swimming is a fellowship. There's so many fellowships.
Within the last year or so, I've gained so much more Rotary friends through fellowship. The fellowship that I belong to is a cycling fellowship, and we're able to raise money for polio just by riding our bikes.
It's the fact of taking your passions, your hobbies, and making that into a service opportunity, into a social opportunity. We do learn to surf events for high school kids, beach cleanups, things like that. It's also attracted people who are into those types of events to seek out, what is Rotary about?
Yeah, but the internet in this area has been terrible the last few days. You know, I live down the road.
Well, thanks so much, Madam President, for that, and that also include our secretary's report. And now for our membership update.
Already in a meeting.
And now for our membership update, please, welcome our Rotarian Kino, who's our membership update. Thank you so much.
I just want to comment a couple of things. Chantel shared just now, she's talked with the fellowships. I really want us to take a strong look at Rotarian and the fellowships. I was very happy that the gentleman shared the fact that the fellowships talks about how the hobbies and the interests can actually be a part of your life in Rotary and involvement in what we do, and also impact the community. So I'm encouraging persons who are part of Rotary, find out about the fellowships. As we saw there was the cycling fellowships. There's the what I saw there. I saw the swimming. I saw persons on the surfboards. If you have a hobby, come and take a look to see if Rotary actually has it. And if it doesn't have it, come, let's talk about how we can incorporate that in making Rotary better. That's how we are able to be well-rounded and holistic in what we do as members of Rotary. But of course, we have some persons to celebrate in Rotary. We have, of course, Rotary Philip. I don't know if Philip is on from Cat Island. Philip Johnson is celebrating his birthday today. So let's come on, let's give Philip a round of applause all the way. So good to see some of those persons celebrating him this morning. And of course, we have past President Stephen Dean. I'm looking for Stephen. Stephen, where are you? I'm sending out a message to you. Stephen Dean, he's in Abaco. Okay, well, like my good friend told me last week for membership, even though he's traveling, he's come on and join. So Stephen, I'm sending that out to you. And of course, Rotarian Samita for my Rotary sponsor, Samita, June 19th. Her birthday is this month. And of course, before I go, always want to say hello to my buddy Lana. Lana, how you doing in the virtual world? We just want to say hello to you. And as we close, as we come to this year's close, I say to you, please reach out to your buddy, connect with them, find out how they're doing. We have 8 tickets left. So make sure that you and your buddy will be there at the changeover. We're gonna have a great time to celebrate Chantel, our president, and also celebrate our incoming president. Thank you very much. And of course, I saw some more of Sheila's mangoes at the back. Thank you so much, Sheila. I enjoyed that. The mango was delicious last week. So if you don't come, I'm taking your mango. Go ahead and play our birthday song, please.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. How old am I now? My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. My birthday, come again. So I can party all night.
Those celebrating birthdays, enjoy your birthday. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You look very good today. You look very sharp.
I was with the GG, when the Governor General a couple minutes ago.
That explains it.
Yes.
He didn't do this for us.
Oh, for you too. For the Migos.
You said for you too?
For you. What I can do with Sam? Sam was a comedian today. What is Sam?
Great, yes, I think so. We're celebrating for all of the birthday celebrants, the same. We're still having some fun here in the room. All right, so
I have an announcement.
let me hear your announcements.
I want to announce that I'm very displeased.
With?
With Sheila.
What would you like to stand in front of the
I
podium?
said that she has not decorated this room for Father's Day. I'm very.
Yes, yes, yes.
Very displeased, very displeased.
And we have again, the man of outnumbered the women again in our meeting.
It's what we're for Father's here, so we can use the ways that we can. Only fathers in this room, we get nothing.
Oh, my
I just
goodness.
want to let our guest speaker, Mike, know that this club has more men who have supported than women. I just want to say that, Mike, so that when you go back to your club, you will be able to say that the men stand together, man.
I'm not getting in that one.
Yes.
It's too much fun in this club.
Mike Stafford, who is the director of Wine Appreciation and Rotary College. So he's a graduate of Freeport High School on the island of Grand Bahama. Mike Stafford grew up on, under, and around the water. After graduation, he attended commercial diving school in California and worked as a commercial diver off the West Coast and Gulf of Mexico. Returning home to Grand Bahama, he stayed with diving, but switched to the less dangerous and much more fun recreational side of the business. He worked for the Underwater Explorer Society in Mexico, where he was one of 3 who started the now world famous shark feeding dive and was recognized by Skin Diver magazine as the first in the Bahamas to hand feed sharks. Having been recruited for a position at Divi Flamingo Beach on the southern Caribbean island of, he left the Bahamas again in 1992. From there, he held dive and hotel management positions in Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Curacao. Returning home 10 years later, he became general manager of Ocean Reef Resort. He joined Bradford Marine in 2006, and in 2021, Mike took over the management of Grand Bahama Utilities' 3 million gallon per day reverse osmosis system. Mike joined Rotary in 2002 and is a 2-time past president of the Rotary Club of Free, past assistant governor for District 6990. He has received a number of Rotary awards, including District Humanitarian Service Award, District AG of the Year, District Service Above Self Award, the Peter Christie Hart of Rotary Award, that's our award, isn't it? And the Sir Derwent Knowles Humanitarian Service Award. Mike is very active in the Grand Bahama Emergency Water Relief Foundation, commonly referred to as the Rotary Water Plan, which provides free drinking water to the community after hurricanes interrupt the normal supply. He also serves as director for Wine Appreciation Fellowship, Rotary's largest fellowship group. As Rotary celebrates fellowships during the month of June, please join me in welcoming PAG Mike Stafford to discuss Rotary fellowships.
Mention that he's the official flag bearer for the Bahamas and all the international conventions. Well, he always brings a big flag.
Thank you. Thank you for the Rotary Has Heart Award. I must say, when Barry invited me to come over for that foundation presentation right after Dorian, I thought I was going to get a Paul Harris Award, and you guys really took me out of my element, gave me that award. And then also the Sir Derwent Knowles Award. So I was really stunned on that. So thank you for having me. So I noticed that Stephen's not on the call today. That guy calls, I went to school with him. So he calls me and he says, I want you to speak on fellowships. So he's still speaking and running on. I think to myself, I don't know nothing about fellowships, but if I say no, then Stephen will call his cop friends over here in Freeport and tell them to pull me over as I leave the office because he knows that I enjoy a glass of wine in the car on the way home. So here I am. I thought that the Madam President had upstaged me with her video because I also had a video that was labeled the same, but mine's a little bit different. So I'm gonna do my best to pull it up here, and here we go.
It's actually runs probably.
You do the volume, you have to do the sound. Yeah, you have to do share sound when yours, Mike.
What interests people have this fellowship for?
You share the same interest, you share the same hobby.
Photography is a fellowship. Swimming is a fellowship. There's so many fellowships.
In the last year or so, I've gained so much more worthy friends through fellowship. The fellowship I belong to is a cycling fellowship, and we're able to raise money for polio just by riding our bikes.
It's the fact of taking your passion, your hobbies, and making that into a service opportunity, a social opportunity. We do learn to surf events for high school kids, beach cleanups, things like that. It's also attracted people who are into those types of events to seek out what is Rotary about.
Rotary Friendship Exchange is an opportunity for you to visit new places, learn about culture.
To be received with warmth and friendship. That is the ultimate travel experience in my mind.
You get to connect with a family there that will show you around. You explore things you never thought you would explore.
And also sometimes integrating local projects. Friendship exchanges are open to anyone.
It's something you can do with your friends, your family, your kids. Better than a vacation, hands down, best.
The great thing about Project Fire is that it brings Rotarians from different parts of the world to one venue. When they come, they're looking for projects that can help them to meet their club's goals.
The Rotary clubs offer different projects in different areas of focus.
The hosts put together project visits and other kinds of tours. People become friends. Friendship engenders trust.
The personal contact is the main purpose of a project fair.
ICC or the country committees are an important part for peace and friendship.
The Decati Committee operates between two countries.
And it's very important for Rotary with the sort of experts to promote activities and relations between the projects are done by the clubs and not by the ICC, but they try to help them to do these projects.
Go beyond your borders and do your part to reach peace through service.
Yes.
So there you go. I thought that the president had upstaged me with her video, and I even wrote in my notes there about it. And then when I saw that it was different, she's off the hook. Before we get into fellowships, let's talk about another grouping in Rotary called Rotary Action Groups. There's hundreds of fellowships. It actually was hard for me to figure out how many there were. One said 91, another Google said 96. But there's actually 26 Rotary Action Groups. And let me just read, and these are groups that are sanctioned by Rotary, and they have strict guidelines. And these are the list of some of them: addiction prevention, Alzheimer's, dementia, blindness prevention, blood donation, clubfoot, diabetes, disaster assistance. By the way, I was the founder charter secretary of this for 4 years. Barry Rassin hooked me with that one in Brazil at the convention. He said, "Oh, we're starting a disaster network of assistant Rotarian Action Group, and I want to thank Mike Stafford for being the charter secretary." Meanwhile, they hadn't said a word to me before that, but there I was. Moving on from disaster network assistance, there's domestic violence prevention, endangered species, environmental sustainability, family health and AIDS prevention, food plant solutions, health education and wellness, hearing, hepatitis, literacy, malaria, maternal and child health, mental health, microfinance and community development, multiple sclerosis, peace, polio survivors and associates, preconception care, slavery, and water and sanitation. You can see that all of these rags actually follow our 7 areas of focus. And when we go through the list of fellowships, you'll see that a lot of them follow these same ones. So let's do a list of, go through the list of all the fellowships. And some are fun, like the Beer Fellowship and the Beard and Mustache Fellowship and the Coffee Lovers and the Gin Fellowship. And some are serious, like corporate social responsibility, empowering women, ethics. So to read off the list of these, there are all kinds of them: 4x4 vehicles, antique automobiles, Argentine culture, astrology, badminton, beard and mustache. B, beer, bird watching, bowling, camping, caravanning, chess, coffee lovers, comedy, composting, computer users, corporate social responsibility, cricket, cruising, culture and heritage, curling, cycling, doll lovers, drafts, which is actually a type of checkers, e-clubs, editors and publishers, empowering women, entrepreneurs, Esperanto, which was the first fellowship formed, I want to say in like 1928, ethics, European philosophy, fine arts, fishing, flying, Franco-Fogant, whatever that is, genealogist, gin, global development, Go, which is actually, I have to Google that one. That is actually a Japanese or Asian type of board game. Golf, gourmet cooking, graphic designers, healthcare professionals, hiking, home exchange, which is an interesting one, horseback riding, hunting, internet, Italian culture, jazz, Canada literature, kites, Latin culture, lawyers, that's got to be an interesting one there. Leadership, LGBTQ plus, magicians, Magna Graecia, marathon running, metalhead, metaverse, military veterans, motorcycling, music, old and rare books, plum wine, past district governors, peace fellows, performing arts, photographers, pickleball, whatever that is, public health, public speakers, quilters and fiber artists, railroads. And at one of the conventions, I forget where it was, the railroading fellowship had a tour that you could go on in an antique railroad. I think it was in Toronto, I'm not sure. Recreational vehicles, Rotary Global History, Rotary means business, Rotary on pins, Rotary on stamps, rowing, rugby fans, rum, another fun one, scouting, scuba, shooting sport, skiing, social networks, startup investors, strategic planning, surfing, table tennis, tea lovers, tennis, total quality management, travel and hosting, triathlon, urban gardening, vintage collectibles, whiskey, which by the way, a number of Nassau, East Nassau Rotarians are into that, like Lindsay and President-elect Christian. Wildlife conservation, my favorite, the Wine Appreciation Network, which is the largest. Yachting, which was one of the second fellowships. Yoga and Young Rotarians. So you can see that there's fellowships to do with everything. And you can start a fellowship if you got a good idea and you got a group of people, and it has to be in a few countries. So Rotary fellowships are international, independently organized groups of Rotarians, Rotarian spouses, and Rotaractors who share a common vocation or recreational interests. Rotary fellowships give their members an opportunity to have fun, make new friends around the world, and enhance their experience in Rotary. Rotary fellowships began informally in 1928 when Rotarians shared an interest in an international language, Esperanto, and they joined together. And then in 1947, a group of Rotarian boating enthusiasts began flying the Rotary flag from their vessels, calling themselves the International Yachting Fellowship of Rotarians. And that now holds the distinction of being the oldest continuing fellowship. The scope of fellowship has changed significantly over the years, but their purpose remains the same: to unite Rotarians in friendship and provide opportunities to enjoy favorite recreational and professional activities. Many fellowships also use special interests to serve others. For example, the Fellowship of Canoeing Rotarians organize cleanups on polluted rivers. Members of the International Computer Users Fellowship of Rotarians conduct training sessions for Rotarians and others in their community, and members of the International Fellowship of Rotarian Scuba Divers join local Rotary clubs to undertake service projects on each of their diving trips. Rotary International established specific policies for forming a Rotary Fellowship, and the RI Board of Directors evaluates each prospective group before deciding whether to formally recognize it. So just because you want to start a fellowship doesn't mean you can do it without RI Board of Directors recognition. However, each fellowship operates independently from RI with its own rules, dues requirements, and administrative structure. Membership is open to all Rotarians, Rotarian spouses, and Rotaractors. You can learn a lot more about fellowships by going to RI, and you can just go to www.ri.org/fellowships, and there'll be a list of existing fellowships, as well as a directory that would connect you to the people from each of those fellowships. So if you wanted to join one of the ones on the list, you just go to the website, connect on that link, and it takes you direct to the leader of the membership of that fellowship, and you can ask about joining them and what their requirements are. As I said, it was hard for me to figure out how many fellowships there were. It seems that there's 91 fellowships, but another Google search said 96. And as stated earlier, fellowships get stuff done other than just a social. The Wine Fellowship, obviously, which is the largest of all fellowships, we gave a container of wheelchairs to Grand Bahama Island. By the way, some of which we sent to Franny in Nassau because he sent some to us. And then in Hamburg, we gave money to drill a well in Haiti. I'm sure you've all heard of the hand wash initiative to bring piped water to every house in Haiti. There's no timeline and no budget, but it's a huge project. And Rotary leaders such as Barry say that after polio, it's probably going to be the next focus in Rotary is going to be hand wash and water and sanitation projects. And as you can see, there's a water and sanitation Rotary Action Group and also a water and sanitation fellowship. Now we're talking about help in Hamburg. We gave money to drill a well in Haiti, and now we're talking about how we can help in Ukraine. We make our money not only through membership fees, but mostly from our pre-convention tours, wine tours, and our wine dinners. The wine dinners are a lot of fun and a chance to enjoy good company, good food, and fine wines. At the two in Melbourne, I actually sat with RI President-elect Gordon and his wife, and one with Esther, and both are lifetime members. To join the fellowship is $25 a year, or it's $100 a year for life. So go figure, it's easy, it's just do $100 a year. And we have the best special pin for lifetime members. I don't know if you can see it.
It's not moving.
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, yes.
So it's a corkscrew on a pin, and that's lifetime members only. And some of the events are only for lifetime members. For instance, we had a lifetime member only pre-convention wine tour where we went to Chandon, a champagne house, and then we went to another winery and tasted wines, and then we went to their restaurant, had a really fantastic dinner. And then during the convention, we had a lifetime dinner and we tasted a bunch of wines. And the last wine of the evening was called a Grand Burge. And if you can find a bottle, it's $600 a bottle. And they only poured like about this much in the glass, a couple inches, if that. And we savored it. It was just fantastic. Other big fellowships that Rotarians are in are the Gin Fellowship. The Rotarians in Nassau are in are the Gin Fellowship, the Beer Fellowship, and the Whiskey Fellowship. And they have booths at the convention, and they give out tours, and they go on, they give out tastings, and they go on tours. In Hamburg, the Beer Fellowship, obviously that's a beer place. They went on, excuse me,
having the wine.
They went on very many brewery tours. And at every convention in the House of Friendship, there's fellowship booths. There's a music fellowship, and they have a piano and instruments, and their members just show up randomly and get together and play music and sing songs, and it's always like the lively corner booth. There's even a home exchange fellowship where you can swap your home in Nassau with somebody on the other side of the world. It's worldwide. You remember the movie The Holiday with Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz, where one ended up in like a Beverly Hills mansion and the other one ended up in an old Scottish farmhouse? Well, that's the kind of thing that the friendship exchange, home exchange does. And then, as it said on the video, there's the friendship exchange, where you just show up in that, well, obviously you prearrange it, you show up in that person's country and you probably stay in their house and they take you here, there, and everywhere. And then you probably invite them to come back to the Bahamas and you take them all over the place in the Bahamas. So that's kind of an interesting thing. I go to a lot of conventions. This last one was number 12 for me. And when I go to conventions, I take Bahamas stamps with me because the Stamp Collectors Fellowship has a booth there with a big tray of used stamps from around the world, from everywhere. And they're just like all scattered in this big tray. So I roll up and dump a bunch of stamps in the tray and roll on. Now, obviously, stamps are getting harder and harder to find because everything's electronic and stamped on a printed stamp, not a sticky stamp on envelopes. Now, the Stamp Fellowship's going to be in for a big treat next year. I don't know if they know yet, but at the Singapore convention in Singapore, there is actually a Singapore philatelic museum dedicated just to stamps. So I'm sure those guys are going to go there and have a fellowship meeting there, maybe an evening social with drinks and all of that. Now, just because we got all these fellowships doesn't mean they're that easy to deal with, because there's certain requirements you have to do. You have to have a newsletter, you have to have dues and membership structure, you have to communicate with your members, you have to have quarterly meetings, and organizing a fellowship requires considerable commitment. But Rotarians who've done so consider it a worthwhile trip. For instance, when I joined the Wine Fellowship, I only joined in Portugal because they were having a wine dinner on a tall ship, and I have a marine background and I wanted to go on that tall ship, so I joined. But I've now made friends in the Wine Fellowship, including now President-elect Gordon, who was at 2 of the dinners in Melbourne. Trying to think where we just came from. So you meet people and you get to know each other, and then you trade wines. And for the Wine Fellowship, I got into it in Toronto as well, on the board actually, because they needed a place to have their board meeting. And it just so happened that the hotel I was staying right down the street from the convention had a really nice meeting room on like the 72nd floor of the building or something. And it so happened that the president of the Wine Fellowship was staying in the same building. So I said, hey, why don't we just use that room? So we went up there and there was like about 9 of us, and we had like about 6 bottles of wine, and we had wine and we talked about our goals and all that. And next thing you know, I was the board of director. So to begin, you need to assess the need if there's a need for a fellowship in your area. So like, for instance, in Nassau, there's the Sailing Fellowship that I know Sir Durwood was involved in. You could probably start a fellowship with historic forts and castles, because you got historic forts over there. And one of the things is Rotarian fellowships are internationally, they're independently organized groups, and they need to be in different countries. And you need to show that there is a widespread international interest that would ensure the group's long-time viability. You would also need to confer with experienced leaders of existing fellowships about the basic administrative structure and operations. Because it's just not you get together once a week or once a month on a Zoom meeting. There's a structure, and there's a structure that RI demands that you follow. Of course, if you're unsure about how to begin promoting your idea to prospective members around the world, consider these strategies. Ask your district Rotary Fellowship chair for assistance. I could not find out who your district Rotary Fellowship chair is in 7020. I'm in 6990 and I couldn't find out who our fellowship chair is either. So don't feel bad. And you can start by gaining support in your own district, then reach out to district chairs in other countries to begin building a team of prospective members and organizers. You can use Rotary social media networks on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn to spread your idea and connect with Rotarians in different parts of the world who may share your same interests. You can visit the social networking section of Rotary.org to learn how to get connected. Probably the best way is to ask Rotary service staff for their assistance. They're there to help you, and they may be able to connect you with other Rotarians who have started a fellowship and can lead you through the process. Applying for official recognition is a process too, and you need to seek official recognition. And RI you must demonstrate their compliance with the Rotary Code of policies and ethics and readiness to operate as an active, successful international association. To be considered for official recognition, prospective fellowships must submit a formal proposal that includes the following. Complete the application form, obviously, with a clear explanation of the group's purpose. For instance, you're going to promote the history of the forts on Nassau and castles around the world. And then you need a group copy of their bylaws or constitution, a list of the proposed officers and their responsibilities, and which country they live in. And then you need a roster of potential members representing at least 3 countries, and organizers should contact Rotary service staff for guidance before preparing this material, as RI policies, as we know, change because Rotary is a changing organization. And the requirements for official recognition might change from time to time. And that's basically all I've got, because as I said in the beginning, I really don't know nothing about fellowships, but I know that I drink a wine on the way home every night. And if I didn't do this talk, Stephen would call his cop friends over here in Freeport and have me locked up for drinking and driving. So is there any questions?
Thank you so much for that. I will make sure to pass your message on to Stephen. I do have a question. So you mentioned that you need to have international members. Do you just need to have like one other country, or is there a minimum of how many countries need to be involved?
It has to be 3 countries total. So if you're going to start, for example, the Forts and Castles Rotarian Fellowship, one would be in Nassau and probably one in Germany or Czech Republic or England or somewhere like that. It can be more than 3, but it has to start with at least 3.
Okay, because I know there's a Rotarian in the club acting who's interested in starting a fellowship, so I'll have her, I may exchange numbers so she can get some more information. We have some good information. Now we can get started with that. Thanks. Anyone else have any other questions? Keno, anyone online?
I don't see any. We'll take a look at the chat box very quickly. No, I don't see any questions.
Sheila, no questions from Mike? What? Or no comments from Mike?
Okay, just when is he gonna have a wine fellowship in Nassau?
Well, actually, my club has the best fundraiser on the island, and it is a wine tasting. And it's all the wine you can drink, all the food you can eat. It's at a nice place, and we used to charge $60. We're probably going to up it to $100 now, because other clubs on the island are charging $100 for something that you only get 1 entry drink, and then you got to buy drinks for the rest of the evening, and it's Butler Pass hors d'oeuvres that, unless you're right where they come out of the door, you don't get any. And that's held in October in Freeport, and it's a really great event if you wanted to come over and for that.
Yeah, send the information, Mike, and perhaps we can get some people to come from the club to, attend that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and somebody was asking about how to join the wine fellowship. Just go on board, go online, sorry. I was thinking about the yachting fellowship, go on board.
You're more likely to fall over.
Yes.
Go online, Rotarian Wine Fellowship, and it'll take you right there.
Hey, Mike, you left something out of your bio. Official flag bearer for the Bahamas at international conventions.
Yes, one of the things that I do at the convention, which is pretty cool, and it started in New Orleans, is I have a Bahamian flag on the stick, and I stand in front of the door and we get everybody to sit together. But this year I did it differently because it got to be where I would line up in front of the door right away at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. And then people would show up like at the last minute and push to the front of the line, and everybody in the back of the line would be pissed off at like 30 Rotarians would butt line. So I stopped that. And now what we do is we line up and then we go in and we find a spot and we all sit together. And this year was pretty cool because we had myself from 6990. We had your governor-elect from Cayman, and some others from Cayman, and some others from 7020, Lindsay and Christian and a few others. And then we also had people from 7030. So it was the top row was 7020 and 6990, and then the other two rows were 7030. So it was pretty cool. We all sat together. And what happens is there's a parade of flags. And if you go to Rotary.org and you get to somewhere conventions in there, you'll see the parade of flags. And what happens is every flag in the Rotary country is presented, and they come out with the flag, and it's from A to Z. And when the Bahamas comes out, we all jump up with our Bahamian flags and we're yelling and screaming, and they're already on to Ecuador and we're still carrying on crazy. But we do it for all the countries. And this year was unique that we had 7030 with us. So we did it for Cayman, Trinidad, and St. Martin, Barbados, Turks and Caicos. Of course, the British Commonwealth countries, they're all under one thing. I think it's Great Britain, right, Sheila?
Yeah.
And so they have like Turks and Caicos, a bunch of the British.
Virgin Islands, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's quite a few of them actually. So that's a unique thing, and actually the flag on the stick has traveled the world, and it even got stolen in Germany from me. I carry one of those cheesy Bahamian backpacks that you could buy at Fabrics and Things or whatever it's called, and I have the flag in there, and it's all telescoping PVC pipe so it can fit in my suitcase. And I put it down behind me to buy some pins because at the conventions they have all these Rotary merchandise booths that sells everything you can't live without. And I put it down, and when I look back, it was gone. So I was like, shit.
You can't drive Rotarians either.
So that was Barry's convention. And so I borrowed Barry's big Bahamian flag, full-size flag. And then I took a train and a bus to a hardware store way out of town in Hamburg. And I bought PVC pipe and got the flag back for the closing ceremony. And during the closing ceremony, Barry had entertainment from the Bahamas. He had Baha Man and he had Julian Believe. And I met the leader of Baha Man, where you meet everybody that's important in Rotary in the bathroom. And I said to him, I said, listen, I got this Bahamian flag. You guys need to carry it on stage and go crazy with it. And they did. They had that flag up there going nuts with it. And so did Julian Believe. So that was pretty cool. And if you've never been to a convention, you really want to go to one because it'll change your whole view of Rotary. You know, you might think that Rotary is your club and your island and your district when you go to a district conference, but when you go to an international convention and you see the people from Japan and Japanese dress and African dress and the South American Latin people in their native costumes and the internationally about it and all the service projects and all the Rotary action groups that have booths there and all of the fellowships that have booths there, it's just a fantastic Rotary experience. It will just blow your mind.
Alright, so Sheila, looks like we started the second meeting, but we do have a parking lot if you want to continue on with this, but but thank you so much for that. I just want to share with you.
Next year it's in Singapore.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so normally we would
Two
we would have a mug for you as well, but since you're not here in Truston, we will make sure I get your certificate to you virtually. Thank you so much. The information is very helpful. Like I said, we do have a Rotarian who's interested, so we can get working on that for all of everything in place for it to be presented. I appreciate all the information. Look forward to getting the information on the wine tasting that your club has and see if we can, get some of our members to support. Okay, so thank you again for that.
Okay.
I might go to Singapore. I couldn't do both.
Yeah.
Well, it's time.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Yeah, like 2 days to get to.
Thank you, Mike, a very beautiful presentation.
And then you had to fly.
Information that was given during the meeting.
And then go to Sydney.
Trust me, the information was well absorbed, and I'm quite sure you'll be seeing much more coming out from that as we move forward into our new year. We'll take the year. Now, okay, so we have any raffles, Madam President?
Yep.
No raffles? We can raffle. Sheila, you up for raffle? Can we raffle off Sheila?
There's a Michael you can raffle.
How about raffling off peanuts?
All right. Get the money going. Get the money going. Get the money going.
Boy, it's such a pleasure. But it was a good meeting, a good pleasure, a good time to have everybody in the house. And we're gonna end this year strong.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Mike, can you send us a bottle of wine that we could raffle off for next week? Would that be good?
You can send me a coffee cup and I gotta send you a bottle of wine?
I love it. Hey, Mike, that's a good balance, Mike. That's a good balance.
Don't mess with us in the north.
Maybe that encourages more members to join. That's my. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get ready to do our loyal following guests. Please, make a stand. As we all do the following guests. Of the things we think, say or do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it be fun?
Thank you so much, my fellow Rotarians. And now coming to do the loyal toast. Rory toast. Then we have PG Larry. Larry, we always like to have you. I'm gonna get football. Sing it loud and clear, Larry. Those are like again.
Please join your glasses with me.
Okay.
And for the 7 Rotarians who are here. And the many Rotarians who are joining us by zooming on air.
Yes.
Let us join with Rotarians everywhere in a toast. Rotary all over the world.
Rotary
all over the world.
So what you doing like Larry? Thank you so much, Larry. Thank you.
Only Larry, man, only Larry.
And we call this. So there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Mike, if you want you to finish telling your story.
Now let's get this quick picture. We need 2 chairs. We need 2 chairs for the women. Man, just stand this one.
All right, have a good.
Yeah,